we actually saw some QBs. I think it was Dan Orlovsky and Chase Daniels online kind of put videos out about past playbooks. And I mean, some of them were like encyclopedias. And I was just, how daunting is that? I guess you touched on a little bit, but like we always hear that so much of the game is mental, but just like, is it overwhelming when they just hand you this big book and say, hey, we're going to learn all this today?
Yeah, typically they do it in installs. So, but the installs are pretty thick in themselves. And just the base information, I think I saw a video on that too, that you're mentioning, but the base information, the formations, the motions, all that kind of stuff, you got to learn the base stuff to, even be able to go out and perform on day one install, if that makes sense. So typically they'll just do, a bunch of different installs. And then you go day by day and learn that install for the next day to go out and, perform at practice and kind of execute it. So it's, they break it up a little bit in terms of just handing you a huge playbook to start out right away, but it's still, each one of those installs are pretty hefty in themselves. So it's definitely, a lot of learning, and it's a good thing though, because when you're watching the Browns on Sunday, they got a lot of depth to it. It's not just, hey, you go run this. So that's a good thing. You could say that.
Obviously, I've never been involved in an NFL camp. I'm just a silly podcaster. But I did play football, like obviously the lowest levels in, high school and junior high and stuff like that. It always blew my mind. Why does the play call in the NFL need to be the world's longest run-on sentence when in high school you can just say the name of a play and all 11 guys know what the name of that play means? In there, why do we have to explain it to the adults what every single position is going to do on this play in the huddle?
There's a couple different aspects to it, I guess, because sometimes you do just get one word and you got to know what the play is overall, and kind of everybody's on the same page there. So sometimes you get a shorter play call, but then sometimes you get the play calls that you're talking about. And typically that comes in play when the offensive coordinator or the coaches want to run a specific play, but they don't necessarily have the words to say it in one call, if that makes sense. So then they have to tell, okay, this guy's got this guy's got this guy's got this, because we don't have in the playbook one play call that says you guys all have this different aspect of the route. So I think that's, kind of where that comes into play, because like I said, sometimes on the play call sheet or in the playbook, the coaches want to switch something up, but they don't want to switch the whole playbook up. They just want to get a play call with those different aspects. I think that might be where the long calls come from. But
okay.
So it's more like
it's definitely mixed in overall.
Kind of like a hybrid play on the fly. They're just kind of putting it together and making sure everybody knows what to do, but they're not changing the essence of the base play. Okay, that makes sense.
And that could end up being a base play. So it could end up being in the playbook, and so that's where you probably get those in the playbook. And then there's some just plays flat out in the playbook that are pretty long. It's just the way it is. But
well, and it kind of helps us understand as fans, viewing the games from our couches. Just because you see a guy run around, it's like he definitely wasn't where he's supposed to be, or this guy looked totally lost. That really, it's understandable whenever you look at it and understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think like an adult's attention span is like 8 seconds, and if the play calls 12 seconds and your role was at the end, you might have forgot. You might not have been paying attention.